All right, guys, welcome in. We made it to Friday night, and man, we got an action-packed show here. We got a lot of exposing to do. A lot of, crazy tornado outbreaks. We got typhoons circling each other, fires, all kinds of stuff we got to get into. Now, this video has been going around, and let me tell you, this guy has a good eye for catching things. But I dug into this really deep. I downloaded the actual original file. And, you know, back when we were covering the Paradise fires, we had multiple ways to show how the fire is ignited. You know, we had the Ram slider where we had the three triangular aircraft there dropping incendiary weapons, and then the fire igniting. We caught it on the radar. I mean, we had multiple things that added up. Now, on this video here, now, like I said, I downloaded this video. I can tell there's a Big Dipper, so north is like right here. And I time-stamped all this stuff. I time-stamped everything. And after I did all my analysis on this, I went to the radars. I went to the next rads. I tried to find anything that backed this up. But what I did find is this thing that's flying across here. It took it an actual 2 minutes and 8 seconds to get across the screen. And then I compared it to all the other craft that you see flying, and they all add up to the same time. So I jumped over to the flight 24, if I can. I don't know where my link is now. So I jumped over to my flight 24. Oh no, my session timed out. Well, we can go there anyway. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it causes an explosion, but it's not. It's either it's probably most likely not a commercial aircraft, but you have tons of news choppers out here. You got tons of man, did it get rid of all my flight paths? They're like all gone now. Wow. All right, well, I had all the, man, this sucks. Yeah, it timed out, I guess. Well, all these planes were circling all kinds of weird formations right over the fire zone. Let me see if I can find it again. Man, that really sucks this thing. Wow, that really sucks. All right, well, I mean, we had planes flying all over this place. You know, you got the firefighting planes. You got all kinds of stuff out here. 2 helicopters were flying around out here. This sucks that it timed out on us, because I had all the paths up here. In fact, there's some of the helicopters. Don't have no call sign, but they all had just these crazy flight patterns all over the fire zone areas. And when you watch this thing in real time, let me see if I got that loaded here. I may not have it loaded in the broadcast, but let me look real quick. Okay, here it is in real time. But you could see everything is speeded up on this. And he's right about the power going out, you know, and all that. But this is just an aircraft flying across, and then the flash of what I think caused it is what's making the plane brighten up. But that's just a normal plane. It's blinking just like a regular plane blinks. It just appeared like, you know, it just happened to be right over the fire as it actually exploded. But yeah, that's just a plane. It looked like it went across here real fast, but it took 2 minutes, 0.08, to get across the screen. And these planes that are flying, not even the farther path was like a minute 30 seconds. So if you get the width versus the depth, it's all coming out as a plane. It wasn't nothing to do with igniting the fire. But we're going to get into what was the cause, more likely the cause of the fire. But plus, I can't back that up by the radars. I can't back, because you'll see the little explosions on the radars, so I can't back it up. There's only one thing. It's just this thing flying across right at the time of the fire. So, yeah, everybody ran with that, but nobody looked into it. But, I mean, this guy's got a good eye, man. I went ahead and subscribed to him and like what he's looking at here. But, yeah, that's just a plane going across. So, we can't use that to say, you know, that it started the fire, because there's no other evidence. It's just a plane flying over at a good timing. But yeah, we got mega tornadoes going off in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. I mean, look at this thing just blowing up with tornado warning. Couple popped off in Florida. Now, I was the only one that even talked about this storm, and the mainstream media wouldn't even talk about it. I'm like, why is nobody talking about this storm? Well, here it is. Back in the 16-day forecast, we were watching for this. We watched the aerosols be deployed in it. That's a first sign that something's coming. Oh, okay. Sorry there. I got to switch screens. Glad you guys said something. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. So here, let's play this again so you can see all the tornadoes. Here, let me take the data off so you can see just the watches warning. Look at all the red. Them are all tornadoes. A couple popped off in Florida. And the mainstream never gave no warning about these storms. I think we were probably the only ones. Now, I do not have none of this stuff in order. Let me get rid of this flight radar. Yeah, man, it sucked right. I had this all loaded up. And around the fire zone, it showed all the flight paths. They were all going all crazy. 2 helicopters were out here. You can see one of them's here now. One's over here. So, too bad it didn't stay for us. All right, so let me try to get back where I was. Hey, thanks there, Elijah. Yeah, I'm going to show you what I think caused the fires. Now here, let me show you another, just a quick little clip, and I'll get it back on the right screen, hopefully. Let me make sure that's it. Right, here's a transformer blowing up. Now see how this thing is just, you know, blowing out, just like the fire. You know, when you look at that original footage, it's doing the same thing. It looks exactly the same. But I think these fires is like a 2-part system. And I'll try to back up what I'm talking about as soon as we get to that stuff. Let me get back on our scene, because somehow I'm on the wrong scene again. And the broadcaster is going to give us a hard time. Man, I got so much crap to get into tonight. Yeah, that looks like a beam coming down, but it's not. It's just the camera can't handle that brightness. When you see that all the time, it's like looking at the street lights in fog. Or yeah, it's like they leave off a line. So all right, where was I? Nothing would work. Okay, we'll get in. Let's get these articles out of the way real quick, and then we'll jump into the PG&E Skynet situation. So the Paradise fires, man, that was a whole different beast right there. None of these fires that are popping off right now are like the Paradise fires. Hey, thanks out there, Cindy. But out of 70,000 California wildfire victims may miss out on their payments. So as many as 100,000 Californians are eligible to receive payments for the damages, but tens of thousands of them have not sought compensation because most of them got burned alive. So this is how PG&E works, man. They rip you off. They cause the fires. And we're going to get real deep into PG&E here in a minute. Now, I've been talking about all these radioactive bags that have been released from the typhoons, and then intentionally listen to this. This is insane. insane.
Authorities in Japan are set to release water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the sea, despite reports that the water is still highly radioactive after many attempts to decontaminate it. Our Lee Seung-jae tells us more.
Despite reports, treated water at the Fukushima nuclear plant needed to be decontaminated even more before it can be released into the sea, the Japan government has decided to release it anyway. The Japan-based newspaper Mainichi Shimbun reports that Japan's Nuclear Regulation Authority chief told reporters recently that the authority plans to release the water once the radiation levels are lower. However, he added the authority doesn't think more distillation or dilution will help, nor does he think it's necessary.
So it's not necessary. They're just going to dump this radioactive waste into the ocean no matter what. And then there was actually another article that came out that said, oh, it's okay to dump the radioactive waste into the ocean. It's not going to hurt nothing. I mean, come on, these people are nuts. You know, if the world stage really worried about the climate, they would have all come together and tried to do something about this massive leak, but they didn't. They just let them deal with it and let it kill everything over there. Well, check this out. We got lasers could cut the lifespan of nuclear waste from 1 million years to 30 minutes. So right here you're saying the nuclear waste lasts for a million years. So all that stuff in Fukushima is going to be around for 1 million years. You know, one article they lie about the stuff in the other articles, they come right up. So what this guy is going to do is he's going to use fast laser pulses. You know, we see this with the weather engineering. Everything is being pulsed by microwaves. And this article kind of will bring us in to the PG&E stuff here as we get through these other articles. Here's Japan's radioactive water may end up in the ocean. You know, we already went through all this. Now, guys, remember last night I told you the weather generator went online out in Abu Dhabi, and guess what they created? They created a hurricane-like storm in the Mediterranean. It's threatening Egypt and Israel. They just turned the weather generator on yesterday. We seen this back in June when they turned it on. We seen it back in May when they let the other company take it over, and then they flooded like 90% of Iran was underwater. So we have mass weather modification going on in the Middle East. You know, here's an article, collapse of Antarctic ice may have been centuries in the making. So here's another one of them times where they say, you know, these things have been collapsing and thinning for the last 300 years. Well, if that's the case, what is this global warming about? What is this climate crisis about? If this stuff was already thinning for the past 300 years, that just tells you right there, there's another article saying, hey, it's already been going on. It's a natural occurrence. But hey, let's make people pay taxes and fake them out. Here's another one on the Wi-Fi. This is kind of the same situation. So back in November 22nd of 2010, when it was, you know, 1G, 2G, check this out. Wi-Fi radiation is killing trees, new study finds. Yes, trees can bleed, and it's our fault. So the studies of the impact of wireless radiation on humans, endlessly inconclusive, but a recent study effects on Wi-Fi radiation on trees. Yes, it's killing the trees, it's killing the bees, it's killing everything. It's going to kill us. So when you go back and you find these old articles that there was some research on it, and then you know, now they say, oh no, it's not bad for you. That's how the New World Order works. Now, I thought this was really interesting that, you know, the high voltage power line broke near origin of massive California fire that forced thousands of evacuations. Now it's like they're instantly coming out saying that PG&E, one of their things started the fire, which it most likely did. But the way they're telling you is not the truth. So I can't remember what I wanted to read on this. So according to the preliminary report, the utility learned 9/20 there was a problem involving a 230,000 volt line that had automated device could not reestablish service, thus forcing an outage, sparking the fire that swelled to 10,000 acres. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff here. So if you didn't know, PG&E, they're out here taking land from people, and I can't remember what the term was called, but they're taking land from people. And if you didn't know, PG&E also does precipitation enhancement. They modify the weather. It's all right here. And you can find all the companies that modify the weather in California. You got the California Energy Commission, the California Department of Water Resources, the Atmospheric Research, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. You got the Notice of Intent, National Research Council, Pacific Gas and Electric Company. They're involved in land grabs. They're involved in precipitation enhancement or making it not rain. Maybe they need the area dry to do some stuff, so they're going to dry the whole California out till they get their work done. Now here's where it gets interesting. The PG&E had made a deal for a space solar power, but what this is, this so-called this thing is actually, it's actually going to be, they say there's solar panels up here, and they're going to send down microwaves or lasers down, and they're going to create 200 megawatts of electricity. Now they've already purchased these megawatts. You can go down and see all the information. And then here's the company, Solarian. Now Solarian is just another part of PG&E. So the plans to put 200 megawatts. Does anybody know how much 200 megawatts is? Well, let's go look. What's the Arecibo ionospheric heater? Hey, it's 200 megawatts. So you not only have all these ionospheric heaters out here, this one's putting off 200 megawatts. You got this one down here in Peru. It's putting off 4.5 megawatts. Hart's a lot bigger. The Hart facility is more powerful. It's putting off 5 gigawatts. So we're talking, back to the future stuff right there. And then they're going to build one over here that's going to give off 100 billion gigawatts. So 100 times stronger. I mean, you got ionospheric heaters out here everywhere. Here's one, 2.5 megawatts. Right here in Japan, where all the crazy typhoons are hitting, a 1 megawatt. Now, what I got on this map here is I got all the super darns. We got the lidars on here. We got the directed energy, the lasers. I mean, I just put on some of these things just so we can kind of see, what is over here. So that just gives you an idea of PG&E's power. And I wish I could remember what that term is that they're using to steal a guy's land to put in a gas plant. We reported on it, I think, last week. But yeah, man, PG&E is using space-based weapons, a space-based microwave and laser weapon. They do weather engineering. They do it all, man. They're probably actually, let me get rid of some of these here and get a drink here. All right. So these guys are Skynet, man. And like I said, when you go back and look at the fire footage, how it's pulsing, and let's see if this thing will load. Now what I've been seeing some weird flumes coming out of the ground. We caught some last night, and whatever this lake is right here, there's fumes coming off the lake. Now what I think is happening is we got a lot of earthquake stuff. We got crazy earthquakes going on in Ridgeview, Ridgecrest, or Ridgeview, whatever that is over there. And then you had the whole area that dropped. The whole ground dropped like 40 centimeters. Now when you expand this map out, let me get over here and put on the fire layers so you can see all the fires. So look at this big fire down here in the Bajas. I mean, look at it. They're all in the grid patterns, just like the fracking zones. But look at all these fires. So we got, here's another fire in Southern California. So I got all the fire. You got one here by Santa Clarita. But I think what's really happening is we have something going on underground. And then you have PG&E blasting down microwaves, and I think they're actually turning the power off to send the signals down, and something's not going right, and they keep popping these fires off because the microwaves are too powerful for the infrastructure. But when you look at all these fires, are going right up where all the volcanic stuff is, all the volcanoes. Like every single one of these fires is either on a tectonic plate or a fracture or in a volcanic field. Every one of them. I mean, you have two super volcanoes right here. That's a super volcano. And you follow this all the way up. So the whole ring of fire has got little fires popping out. That is leaning more to something's going on underground, just like the methane leak that happened back in 2015. Another thing to show you, we have the mass bunker fuel operations have moved. Look, they're right offshore, man. They're sending toxic air right into Washington, right into Oregon. I mean, these guys are right off the shore, and then the big fleet of them are out here. So they moved the whole operation from Southern California. Now they're all up into Northern California and Washington, Oregon. So that's pretty crazy that we got that going on here. We'll just expand this one out, and then we'll show you the bunker fuel operations in action. Now this is going to take a little bit to load. I just spilled my coffee. Man, I'm horrible about spilling stuff. I don't have a lot of room to work here. I don't have my studio set up. I got the sheetrock on the walls, and that's about it. Anyway, hopefully this will load up. Maybe I need to turn down some of the frames, because I mean, I got a lot of frames loaded here. Let me just put it on like 24 frames. And yeah, like here, now you'll be able to see the bunker fuel. So all the lighter blue lines, all these crisscrossing, these are like the chemtrails of the ocean. Now I got couple big videos to show just how toxic these chemicals are, but we're not going to have time to get in them videos tonight. I may have to do just like a strictly bunker fuel operation video and how this affects. This is the biggest, other than the airplanes dropping the aerosols, this is the biggest effect on the climate right here. These bunker fuel, these are weather modification ships. These aren't even cargo ships. These are not cruise liners. These things are they're only out here to affect the weather, to affect the climate. Let me get this on a dark frame so you can see them. Now I can zoom in. So you can see the crisscross patterns in here. I mean, this is a lot of ships. They're not out here fishing. They're out here screwing with the planet. They're out here with their hand on the thermostat of the climate. And when I show these videos tomorrow, whenever I get time to make this video, you're going to see just like one cruise liner ship puts off 1 million cars a day worth of sulfur, but then there's other toxic chemicals to where like one ship puts off 13 million cars worth of another chemical. But we'll get into all that. I mean, that's a lot of yeah, just type in well, here, man, if I can add this clip here. Let me see if I can add this clip. Like my broadcaster got screwed, but let me try to add a clip in here and I'll show you. I'll just show you the Navy one. So hang on here. Let me see if I can find it. Might take me a minute. I got like a lot of videos to look at here. Hopefully I can spot it. Yeah, I did have, used to keep these preloaded in here for new people because I show these clips all the time. See if I can search it. Where is it? Yeah, I may not be able to find it just like on the spot. I just got too much crap here. I'm looking for it. And I don't know if I'm going to find it here. I don't want to have you guys just dead air while I'm trying to find this damn thing. Yeah, you can go back to any of the previous broadcasts. I usually talk about it and show that clip. Or just type in Pandora fog. That's where the Navy's busting out carbon fiber clouds to, they say it's to hide from oh, here it is.
The Navy Warfare Development Command tested a new anti-ship missile defense system June 21st through 25th. Pandora fog consists of shipboard radar-absorbing carbon fiber clouds tested under a variety of at-sea conditions using assets from the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force. These man-made clouds are part of a layered defense and are capable of preventing a missile from detecting and striking its target.
Yeah, like that's what it's for. So all these guys are out here doing Pandora fog my ass. So anyway, we've got all this, you got all the laser weapons and all that stuff going on. You've got possible, there's something going on underneath California. In fact, underneath the whole ring of fire. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to get into all this stuff. All this climate change crap, what it's all about is money. A tax on carbon emissions, small, but then it would grow exponentially. They want us to pay for what they're doing, just like everything else. Problem, solution, or reaction, solution. I mean, that's what it is. You know, PG&E stock plunges towards record low. Whatever. They've been killing people for years, and they're still have more power than the actual government. These guys are Skynet, man. These are the real Skynet. They're going to get away with anything. Then we have this coming out of environmentally caused disease crisis. Pesticide damage to DNA found programmed into future generations. Uh-oh, my mouse is freaking out since I spilled that stuff. So, you know what? I'm not going to get into all this. We need to get into the weather crap. Here's some more water news. 13,000 customers. Cancer-causing chemical in the city water. Look, there's no such thing as not toxic city water. Everybody's city water is toxic. You got to distill that stuff. You got to filter it, distill it again. You know, here's an article, you know, more on the climate bull crap. Russia's thawing permafrost may cost economy $2.3 billion a year. They've been trying to melt this permafrost for over 100 years. See, Russia's oil and gas infrastructure isn't ready for the rising temperatures and melting ice. Well, hell yeah, they are. They've been ready for it. They've been trying to do it for years. They want to get to these resources. It's all lies, man. All right. Let's go ahead and just show you a couple of... Here was a storm that we've been warned about. They finally turned it into an invest. Did you know we had Tropical Storm Pablo? Well, here's the storm they created over in Europe. Or Europe, over in Middle East. The weathergenerator.net. And look, it's hard to tell, but there's two storms right here. You got the extra tropical storm 22 and then Invest 22W. They're just mimicking, spinning around out here, you know, mixing up all the radioactive waste out here, that all the trash bags full of radioactive waste, just spinning it all around out there like a washer and a dryer. Let's go ahead and check the mimic while we're right here. Yeah, because we can see, you know, when they're manipulating the ionosphere, we can catch it right here. We'll see the disturbances. See how they're blocking the moisture from coming into California? See, they're pushing this whole area out. They did something to the winds. The winds changed directions. Look, they blew apart them two typhoons. Look, they were just like trying to circle each other, and they blew them apart. Like, these storms shouldn't even have been able to form. You had three cyclones in almost the exact same path. The first cyclone should have cooled the water down enough that a second cyclone couldn't have went in the same path, but yet another one, and they all emanated from Guam, where the U.S. military is constantly doing weather programs out. And then here's our other man-made created cyclone right there off the coast of India. Let's go ahead and take a before we get into this radar. Let me go ahead, change that. Let's go see if there's any tornado warnings right now, and then we're going to get into the worldview map. So let's just see if we have anything. So at 8:21 Central Time, we had a tornado in Birmingham, Alabama. Couple of them. Florida, Ruskin, Florida. Tampa Bay area, 8:47. So about an hour ago, we had look at all these tornadoes. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at these tornadoes. It's fall. It's not spring. That reminds me of one more clip I need to show you guys.
Sure. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn to...
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans...
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the Senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Thank you.
So there you go. And that was years ago. So look, man, none of our weather has been natural for a very long time. If you go to weathermodificationhistory.com, you can see that they were launching dynamite up by balloons and cannons in the 1800s trying to affect the weather. I've showed tons of times where they use electromagnetics to steer the atmospheric rivers. There's tons of companies out here that do it. I mean, you can type in your local licensing bureau and you can find out who is modifying your weather. I mean, if I still had the, I closed down the climate viewer, I could have showed you all the documented weather stuff across the planet. So here's some of these storms. I'm going to go ahead and go up a little farther north here. And let's get this thing to loop. You know, I keep saying they're going to turn off the Flash player. What's going to happen to these maps? Because they're all ran by Flash. Yeah, and I could almost bet that, you know, this PG&E, they're part of the 5G, you know, from space. I mean, all them companies out there are all in it together, man. We're the pheasants. We're the peasants, and they're the scientists, and we're just the lab rats. That's what it is. You can go back and look at all the testing that the U.S. military has done on the people. All of them. I mean, there's so many tests out there that they never talk about anymore. And we can see this New World Order and the Agenda 21, the Agenda 2030 coming every day. I mean, the signs are there. There's no denying it. It's just, it's maddening what's going on. Let's get down here. And while we're here, let's check. So right now we just got severe thunderstorms in Mobile, Alabama. Let's see what this warning was on the tornado. So tornado warning for Marengo County till 9. So that expired a good hour ago. So it was a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So yeah, okay. Didn't say radar indicated or nothing like that. So yeah, I think I was the only weather person that even talked about this storm, and we talked about it almost 2 weeks ago. Then we talked about it last Sunday. I'm like, man, how come they don't have an invest on that? And then all of a sudden, here comes the aerosols being deployed, and wham, we got us almost a cyclone. All right, so we'll just take a quick look at this, and we're going to jump into the worldview map. In fact, I'll just pause this out. We'll go ahead and jump in there now. All right, so you guys see, we know about the fires in California, but they're not talking about these. That yesterday there was only two little ignition points. Here, let's go back to yesterday. Look at that. Yesterday we had this one little fire, and look at this thing. Almost looked like the Paradise Fire, the color, and it's blowing straight off the coast. Let's go into today, and it's still blowing straight off the coast. It looks like a fracking zone out here. Look at all the grid. The fire are perfect grids. We've seen the same thing on the fires here in California. Man, I wish that was clear. That's probably in a fracking zone. They frack the hell out of this whole area out here. It's all fracking. It's all geothermal. They're turning the West Coast into Swiss cheese. And I think that's why all these fires are in grids. I think we got some stuff going on. Because over here in the Ridgeview area, or wherever this area is down here, the whole area dropped like 40 centimeters just like a week ago. And if you've seen last night's broadcast, man, this was ridiculous over here. But yeah, man, fires are going everywhere. All the way. Look, we got volcanoes, Mount Shasta there, volcanoes everywhere. This is all volcanoes on the West Coast. Super volcanoes. There's Crater Lake National Park, big super volcano. Fires in Oregon, around the volcanoes. Something is going on underneath these plates. Something big. Now let's just go ahead and check some of the weather modification that's going on. You can see the whole upper east is just getting bombarded with aerosols. And here, let's just go back to this storm. Let's go back a day or two. And when you come down in here, we're back here on the 23rd. As soon as you see these big bursts of aerosols being deployed out ahead of a system, and then you see where the aerosols are being deployed, this is the way they were trying to pull the storm up. It happens every single time like clockwork. So 2 days ago, look where the aerosols are. Right where the freaking tornadoes hit. So right here. So this was 2 days ago. No meteorologist that I seen talked about this at all. We'll go up to yesterday. And wham. Exact zones. Like where they started the chemtrails. Where they ended. This is where it's at. And when you go look at it ahead of it. Aerosols. Complete. You got big old fat liners going out here. Just big old fat white liners. to guide the storm. And then you get up to today, look, the whole thing just merged together. And we can see today that the new spraying operation is over Colorado, Grand Junction, right on the border of Colorado and New Mexico, going all the way through Kansas, through Missouri. You got another spraying operation up here in South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana. It goes, you know, it goes all the way up around through BC. You got aerosols being deployed all up over Canada. We're just gonna kind of go through this real quick to see if I see something huge. I'll go down here. We've had all kinds of, they've been pulling this atmospheric river up here in the Rio Grande here for months. We've had rains in the desert, flooding and killing people. What happened 2 days before? Aerosols were being deployed. The UK has been getting bombarded time and time again. Out here in the Mediterranean Sea, Italy has been a target. And they still are getting hammered with the aerosols. UK is probably getting a little bit of a break right now, but when you zoom in, you can see still aerosols in the southern side. Here comes the storm over to Israel. They've only been sprayed 4 times this year. Everybody else gets hammered, you know, daily almost. So they're getting ready. They're starting a spraying operation back over here in Kazakhstan. Look, it's going to go all the way up through Russia. And you watch, these fires will pick up. Got a bunch of fires over here in Pakistan. These guys all use weather modification out here. I mean, it's just big time. So I can pretty much tell you that the weird cloud signatures that went on over here a couple days ago, that's what's causing these storms over here in the desert. Let me show you the microwave clouds. I forgot what day that was. Wow, we had a fire in the middle of the ocean. Oh, we're getting closer because there's the aerosols. And you could follow this every single time. If you watch the aerosols being deployed from the planes, you're going to know exactly where the, look, these are all from electromagnetics. These are not normal clouds at all. These are all from frequencies, microwaves. This thing stayed here for hours and hours and hours. Didn't move. Thanks out there, Jackie. So, I mean, it's just insane, man. They have gone completely Frankenstein on us with the weather. And then they call it climate change, climate chaos. They're the ones creating the chaos. We're just the innocent victims. But yet they'll find a way for us to pay for it. Just like they did with the people of paradise. You know, they burn them out of their homes. They burn them, you know, alive in their cars trying to get away. Then they hike the prices up. And now they're not getting the money that they deserve. And everything that's going on in the United States is going on down here in Australia. It's going on down in the UK. What is this stuff? They are definitely, David Miles must be up to no good down here. Look at that. What are they putting out in this stuff? And that's some weird colors. You know, these lion sock puppet beater all just call these gravity wave clouds. Come on. These are being formed from microwaves, land-based, space-based, whatever, wherever they are. All right, so we have a new spring operation over Queensland. What's today? Today's the 24th. We're going to see a huge fires break out here in the next few days. So all these aerosols are accelerants, and there's going to be fires. Look, there's already one popping off. Mark my words, there's going to be fires. Hell, we already got them up in the north. Remember a couple days ago, the news come out, the mainstream come out and called this cloud a gravity wave. They called it a rare phenomenon and called it a gravity wave cloud. It was a burst. It was the same thing that happened off the coast of Africa. This is a blast wave. This isn't like a normal dust storm whatsoever. It's being hit with microwave frequencies. That's why we always get the blast ring, just like we did with the Paradise fires. It always leaves the signature. The clouds don't lie. The clouds tell the true story. So let's see, where was the bunker fuel yesterday? We're actually back on yesterday's when we go this far on the map. Alright, no bunker fuels that I can really see standing out. So, typhoon after typhoon over here in Japan, guess what they're doing? Same thing. Same thing they're doing in Australia, Canada, the UK, the African desert, South America. They're spraying aerosols. They're doing off and on spraying, grid patterns. This is all synthetic man-made clouds. Look, we can probably check the layers and bring it out even more. We find the right layer where they just started spraying, and you'll see it was a blue sky. They brought the airliners in here, and then now you have, man-made synthetic clouds all over the place. They already have. It's not against the law to use weather warfare on your own people. There's no regulations on weather warfare on your own people. So just crazy bunker fuel operations out here today. Let's get it back on today. Wow, why is it not loading? Is it the layer I got? I mean, you can even see the bunker fuel without the enhancements. Wow, why is it not showing up now? Something's freaking out on this. Oh well, it's stuck on yesterday's. We can see him right here. Yeah, then we also had the solar wind stream coming in. I mean, if you're feeling dizzy, a little bit off, that's all coming from the solar. We're in a grand solar minimum. So our magnetopause is weak, our magnetosphere is weak. So the solar radiation that's coming down is much stronger, which that could be also another part of, the tectonic stuff going on. Yeah, I'm like way too zoomed here. Oh, no wonder I'm on like 250 zoom. All right. Whoa. We put this on an hour, and then you'll be able to get a full scale of the bunker fuel operations and how big this is. So you have bunker fuel being deployed down here by the Bajas, straight out, all over, straight out from Southern California. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. All these lines, these are what I showed you earlier in the show. These are the bunker fuel. These are out here to modify the jet streams and to make the air toxic. They call it accidental geoengineering. They call it cloud brightening. There's supposed to be regulations on this stuff, but they quit doing it because they say it's helping battle the climate change. But what they're doing is they're trapping the heat in. It's not being released at night like it's supposed to be. While we're here, let's go ahead and check the northern hemisphere and see if we see any kind of plasma. It's not the one I wanted. We're going to see if we find any kind of plasma lightning, plasma beams. We can pick it up on here. We picked it up before the Paradise fires and before the, oh, there's some right there. Let me stop that. Since I only got this on a few frames. Right there, it's starting to show up right there. There we go. Definitely getting hit. We need to check the Earth now. Let me check the southern hemisphere because it looks like they're doing a rapid heating event in the north now. They've been doing it down here in the south. There's a real small one right underneath Australia, where the weather mods are going on. All right, nothing too big. Oh, there's one. Wow. Look at that. Right where the weather engineering programs are going on exactly. So look at this. Look at this plasma. It's hitting the auroras. This is like plasma from the ionosphere being disturbed. There's no coincidence. It's right here where the weather modifications are going on. We need to check the Earth now. Like, yeah, California, man, heads up for this weekend. The winds are going to be insane. And you notice the winds have changed directions, are now blowing south. All right, yeah, what I'm going to show you here, we're going to go up to the, way up in the ionosphere, the troposphere, stratosphere, whatever it is, the highest part. And we're going to put this on temperatures. Take the wind off. And what we have going on right now is this blue. This is a compression event, a rapid heating event. But the crazy thing, this has been going on for over a month now, maybe 2 months. So right now it's showing the temperature minus 19.4, minus 14.9. Now look, if you go to the edge here on the landmass, minus 38. They're heating right over the pole. And when you get up here, you're not seeing it. We seen it last year. It was crazy last year. What happened? There was a mega heating event concentrated right here over Russia, China, and it blew this polar vortex over the United States, and it started going over to Europe, and it went too far. Then they heated it from the other side, and it pushed it right back over, and they parked it over the United States for over a month. I mean, it was so blatant. All you gotta do is go back and look at any of the videos from last December that I have polar vortex, in the title, because that's what they did. I just want to check look at the wave. We have mega waves out here in the Bering Sea. 30-foot waves. Okay, that's pretty, not that bad. All right, so no big wave anomalies. Let's go ahead and check the carbon monoxide. These are all the surface levels. There's the big fire down there. But what gets me, look at the East Coast. There's no fires out here. That's just crap in the air. This is a good way to find all the stuff leaking out of the earth. Look, here's a volcano right here. That's what's coming off the volcano. These fires are putting off, pretty good amounts. Looking at the carbon dioxide, sulfur. These are ship tracks also, these long straight lines. These are sulfur dioxide coming off the cargo ships. They leave a trail, just like a chemtrail. And they're everywhere. Just going to check the PM 2.5s. So we got carcinogen skies. Wow, look how it's gone way down. I mean, we got one more good blast, it looks like. Yeah, if you're feeling dizzy, that's most likely from the geomagnetic storm. We can check that real quick. Yeah, the wind speeds up to 572, so that's cruising pretty good. Our neutron counts are very high. Wow, what's this green flash in Hawaii? Oh yeah, look at that. So yeah, we definitely had a pretty good blast on the magnetosphere. Let's see if we can get this oh yeah, so that definitely picked up. I mean, I like using the graph. Oh man, what'd I do? I closed it out. Alright, that sucks. Alright, let me go ahead and get this. Let's go back over to the see if we can spot a. What am I missing here? I'm missing. Oh, okay, this is what I wanted. Let me take off these watches and warnings. And we'll see if we can spot the aerosols that were deployed. Get rid of that. See if we got we got a monster spraying operation over North Dakota. Of course, all the spraying that's going on out ahead of the storm. Yeah, so right there's, that's a pretty massive one there to get a good look at what's going on with the skies, going on with the fake clouds. Yeah, I can't really watch over at chat. I see there was some kind of, I don't know if there was a question I missed or. So look at the spraying going on right there. I mean, that's just, we're a little bit too far to the west here. Let's just try there. Yes, weather control. It's a eugenics program. Everything's always multifaceted, man. these Satanists, man, they're smart. They know how to do multi-agenda attacks on us. You know, they use the weather modification for land grabs, for destruction, eugenics. You know, it's just everything. It's insane, man. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. I want to thank everybody out there that helps us out and sends us information and all that stuff, man. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So much love out there. Thanks for doing that. We're going to play a song called Rise. Play a couple songs on the way out. We're going to jump over on D Live. I'll give away the treasure chest, and I'll come join you back in chat here on YouTube. All right, guys, crank it up. We're going to have to rise. No fear. Eyes to the skies and see the lies. Wake up a neighbor a day. How about a guy at a gas station? Anyway, guys, much love out there. Be safe. Heads up on the West Coast for this weekend. We'll be watching out for you guys. We'll be on here.